Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Daniel James, and if you're new here, welcome. I'm not perfect. I never claim to be, and if you've ever heard me speak, either at a live workshop or a live event in person, you will know that I always start out by saying, I'm not perfect. I still have bad days. The difference is I just know myself and I'm in control. And today I kind of want to talk to you about the fact that I'm not perfect. And this is a realization that I've had a long time ago, which is why I always want to start my workshops out that way, because I don't ever want to be one of those people online that claims to have all the answers. I don't. I never wanted to do a podcast. I never wanted to public speak, but I got to a certain point on my journey when I realized I had a lot more information than most people and I had to share it, because it was only through people sharing their information that I was actually able to get myself out of the dark place that I was in. And over the weekend, I'd realized that I'd got a bit stuck. And I got a bit stuck because I was busy doing life. And I'd realized that I'd actually stopped spending time with myself. Now, obviously, we are always with ourselves. And if you didn't realize that, just stop and compute what I just said. You are always with yourself. You always have been, and you always will be. And a lot of times we can get caught up on other relationships, whether that's romantic relationships, whether that's with family members, whether it's with friends, co-workers, but we never actually stop to prioritize the relationship with ourselves. So although I'd been spending time with myself, I hadn't actually been cultivating the relationship with myself. And as a result, I'd realized I'd kind of gone off track, which is why I said at the start, I'm not perfect. I come here each week and I try and add as much value as I can. I'm not one of these people who just reads a book and then regurgitates it. I actually live what I talk about. And for me, it was a hard realization and a hard, bitter pill to swallow this weekend when I realized, yeah, actually, that's one of the key things I talk about. And I hadn't been doing it. And this is me with the awareness that I've got. How many times have you got into this situation yourself and then we beat ourselves up? Because that's what I did. Straight away, I was like, how's this happened? Now, very quickly, I was able to just take a step back, breathe, and go back to the formula I always reference. Pain plus reflection equals progress. I allowed myself to have that 10-minute funeral. I allowed myself to have that little pity party for 10 minutes. And then I reflected. Now, what I did was I locked myself, not literally, but I put myself in a room for an hour with no distractions, burnt some incense, and I just sat with myself. I even took it a step further. I had an eye mask on, earplugs on. So it was just me with myself. And I made a promise that I would not leave that room until I'd figured out what had happened. How would I had this disconnect with myself? How would I let that relationship with myself go so far off track? Because how many times have you been in a relationship, maybe in a relationship right now, and you can say, yeah, I spend loads of time with my partner. Maybe live in the same house. Yes, you do spend a lot of time in close proximity with that person. You share a bed with that person. But when was the last time you actually stopped and intentionally spent time with them, not watching TV? When did you spend time with them like you used to do in that honeymoon phase? And that's what I'd realized. I'd come out of that honeymoon phase. I'd created this amazing Daniel 2.0. I was absolutely buzzing. I really liked the person that I was becoming because it was intentional. Key word, it was intentional. It was by design. And then slowly, I became less intentional about spending time with myself to make sure I was still cultivating that relationship. I was still spending time with myself. Life was going good. But I wasn't spending that quality time being intentional about building that relationship with myself. So my question to you today is, when was the last time you intentionally spent time with yourself, intentionally checked in with yourself? I'm not talking about journaling, but that's a great start. I'm talking about taking it a step further and actually asking yourself questions about the relationship with yourself. Because a lot of the times we have this really fractured relationship with ourselves. We don't spend the time fixing it. Journaling, meditation is a great start. Walking and being alone with your thoughts, great start. But actually asking yourself those deep questions, which you may not like the answers to, can be hard. And for me, it was a very hard pill to swallow, realizing that I had put my relationship with myself on the back burner because it was so good. I thought, I don't need to do that anymore. And I was wrong. And the only way that I knew that I was wrong is I started to notice again that I was feeling off. I was starting to act out of alignment with the person that I am. And that's when I realized something was off. So today, all I want you to do is just reflect. When was the last time you intentionally spent time with yourself? When was the last time you asked yourself really difficult questions about that relationship with yourself? Questions like, what's working well in this relationship? What's not working well in this relationship? What would I like to change about this relationship? What are the goals of this relationship? Because in a relationship, there should be some sort of goals. What does this relationship mean? Whether it's with a partner, co-worker, what does this relationship mean? What does it look like? Why are we doing this? Same thing with you and your relationship with yourself. And then more importantly, and this is something I have implemented, which I think is a real key thing, once a month, just set that alarm on your phone and just check in with yourself. Because I do it for every other area of my life. I just hadn't been doing it for the relationship with me. Spend that time with yourself. Don't neglect that relationship with yourself. Just because you have built that good relationship with yourself, don't take it for granted like I did. If you've taken any value from today's episode, don't forget to like and share it with a friend. Until next time, take it easy.